Welcome to lesson 4 of the nutrition module. So far in this unit, we have looked at the building blocks of food, talking about those macro and micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals, and the important role that they have in our health. In fact, the essential role they have in our growth and development. Then we moved on to looking at how we actually apply that information by using Canada's Food Guide and creating a plate for ourselves. What would a plate look like? How much food do we need to consume? And what are the habits that help us guide our decision making and make wise, healthful decisions around food? Now we're going to look at another practical bit, and that's nutrition labeling. When you go into the grocery store, you're going to see a lot of food products. And when we're looking at processed foods, foods in bags or boxes, those are all going to have a label that gives us very specific information. How do we navigate that? Let's take a look. Firstly, let's talk about the different types of information we find on a package of food. There's always going to be the brand and product name. In this case, you can see on the cereal, it's Kellogg's brand. Vector is the product name. There will be nutritional claims, health claims, nutrition facts, and an ingredients list. Let's take a look at each of these. So, nutritional claims. Well, they'll talk about a presence or an abundance of a particular nutrient. For example, if there's protein or if there's a bunch of protein, vitamin C or calcium. They may mention the reduced amount or complete absence of a particular nutrient, like fat or carbs and sugars, because we know that although we need fat and we need carbohydrates, there's often this idea that low fat and low carb is appealing, and so a lot of products will mention if those are in a reduced amount or have an absence. We'll also see the calories per serving. So if we look at this Greek yogurt, what kind of nutritional claims are present? Well, some of the nutritional claims are right in the name. It's called Yoplait Greek 100 protein. They packed the name of this protein with some nutritional claims. So what's the first thing? 100 is in the name. Well, if we look just below, it mentions there's 100 calories in 1 cup of this protein in 1 serving. What's the next part of the name? Protein. Well, in the top left-hand corner, now 14 grams of protein. Protein is huge right now in the nutrition marketing game. And of course, we know it's important. We don't need somebody to tell us that, but they like to remind us. And so we can see on this package, it's already mentioned 14 grams of protein, 100 calories, and here it says 7 grams of sugar. They are trying to say that that's not very much. So that's talking about that reduced item that's on there. Health claims are the next thing that often we will see. You're going to see statements like part of a healthy diet, or reduce the risk of, or can help lower cholesterol, as we see on this label from a box of Cheerios. Here it says can help lower cholesterol. That's a big one for Cheerios. In fact, they used to say that it did lower cholesterol, and that got them in some trouble because they were marketing themselves as a medicine in that way, and that got them to have to change what it says, where it says can help lower cholesterol. But that is a health claim. If we want to see nutrition claims, just look up at the top. There's 100% whole grain oats, and it mentions 1 gram of sugar there on the bottom left as well. So we're seeing there's a lot of stuff going on this Cheerios box. These statements, though, are vague and not often well regulated. So as I said, that first claim that Cheerios used to make that it did lower cholesterol, that had to get changed, because that was causing people to use it instead of medication, believe it or not. But these statements aren't always as well regulated, so you want to take them with a grain of salt. Health claims come from 2 sources. Firstly, third-party organizations like Health Check that brands have to pay for to get on their product. So they don't just pay and get it. They have to meet a minimum standard. For example, Cheerios has the Health Check. They paid for it, but they had to be tested and present information that they actually do help something. Other corporations have their own lines of health food, like Blue Menu and Sensible Solution, and that's just their own thing. Nobody's actually double-checked to say, yeah, this is particularly extra healthy. Nutrition and health claims. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of ways that people present them. Don't get too distracted by those stickers and those cool labels. You want to actually look at the information that is on there. The lists that come from the nutrition label and the ingredients list, which we'll also take a look at. For example, one reason why we don't want to get distracted, Twizzlers. Delicious if you love that kind of thing. And it says, as always, a low-fat candy. Well, okay. Are we really concerned about the fat content of a Twizzler? Probably shouldn't be. If you look at the back, it might be low fat, but it has a lot of sugar, a lot of added sugar. So that's fine. Enjoy your Twizzlers, but don't get distracted necessarily by those health and nutrition statements that are being made on the front of the package. So let's look now at the nutrition facts. This is different than a nutrition claim. This is actually regulated by the government. So these are found on almost all prepackaged foods and some whole foods. They provide information on the suggested serving size. Recall when we talked about servings and portions. They say the calories and the percentage of daily nutrients, which you can see on the right-hand side. That percentage is based on an average diet of 2,000 calories. So it's not a perfect percent for everybody. Don't be too distracted by those, but they can be a little bit helpful when looking at certain items. There you can see the serving, calories, and the percentage. Okay, so what might you use this information for? Well, you might use it to compare similar foods. You might have 2 boxes of crackers and you want to see, well, how do these stack up? You'd want to compare serving sizes and some of the other items on there that matter to you. You might use this label to look for foods with a particular nutrient. Maybe you need some more fiber in your diet because your doctor told you you need to deal with some of that. Or maybe you're wanting to get some more protein. So the nutrition facts label is helpful with that. Or you need to select foods for special dietary concerns. Again, you might need more iron or more vitamin C, whatever the case may be. So how does that daily percentage value help? Well, here's some steps you can follow. Step number 1, look at the amount of the food. So this says 3/4 cup serving. The nutrition facts are always based on a specific amount of food, not necessarily based on the whole container. You want to compare this, of course, to the amount you eat. So if you read that there are 8 grams of protein, you're like, oh man, that's amazing, but you only eat half a cup of this yogurt, well, you're not going to get those 8 grams because as we can see, that's based on 3/4 cup. Step 2, you want to read the daily value. The percentage daily value helps you see if a specific amount of food has a little or a lot of a nutrient. So 5% daily value or less is a little. 15% daily value or more is a lot. Step 3, you want to choose. So make a better choice for you. Here's some nutrients you might want. You might want more of, so that's that, higher percentage, fiber, vitamin A, calcium, iron. You might want less of saturated or trans fats and sodium. And that's going back to that little of 5%, a lot of 15%. So you want to find yourself, depending on what you want more and less of, decide where you are in that and look at the label. So let's compare cereal A and cereal B. We got 2 cereals. Well, first, before we compare them, we need to look at how they stack up with regards to their serving size. So cereal A, half a cup is 28 grams. Cereal B, 3/4 cup is 30 grams. So although one is half a cup and one is 3/4 cup, which is 50% more, they're almost the same in grams. So they're very comparable. If we look down at how much fiber is in cereal A and fibers in cereal B, well, fiber in cereal A is 28%. That is a lot of. That is past that 15% mark. And fiber in cereal B is 4%, which is a little of, below that 5% mark. So we can tell cereal A is a very dense cereal. That's why half a cup gets you already almost 30 grams, and it gets you 28% of your daily value of fiber. So if that's important for you, cereal A is your choice. The next part of kind of the nutritional information that we can find on a box or a bag is the ingredients list. And again, this is regulated. It lists all of the ingredients for a food by weight from most to least. So whatever is at the beginning of the list, that's what we get the most of by weight. It might reveal ingredients that you didn't expect to be in that product or ingredients you've never heard of. So when you start looking at this list for oatmeal, guar gum, vitamin A palmitate. Well, vitamin A, okay, but there's not too many things that are maybe unfamiliar names. If you look at some other items, you're going to hear a lot of oses and eights and different words that you can't even pronounce. That might tell you that maybe this is an item that has a lot of ingredients that you want to be avoiding or not having as much of. It's also a source of information for people with food allergies. For instance, if you're celiac and you can't have anything that has gluten, you would look through here and see if that exists. So you'd look for wheat items or anything with the word gluten in it. It can be very helpful for those people. So in the end, the food labels are a very helpful piece of information. They can help guide your decision making, mostly by helping you compare items or helping you identify if a food item has what you need or has things you want to avoid.